Wait. You mean to tell me the cheese caves are still being used?
So in my last video, I told you about the government cheese caves, the 1.4 billion pounds of cheese stockpiled underground. The Reagan administration, the surplus milk crisis. But here's the thing, I ended that video by saying the story wasn't over, that the caves were still there. And I promise I tell you what they're being used for now. Okay, wait a second. Let me show you what I found. Back in the 1980s, the government was buying up so much surplus milk as a presidential promise to the farmers, so they turned it into cheese and that they had nowhere to put it. So they started storing cheese in converted limestone mines deep underground in Springfield, Missouri. Perfect temperature. Perfect humidity. And then the government gave away the surplus to the people. And afterwards, the USDA packed up and left. And everyone assumed the cheese caves were empty. They're not empty. I promise you, they're not empty. Today, those legendary caves have been transformed into a massive private logistics hub. We're talking 3.2 million square feet of underground storage. That's larger than 50 football fields, all of it still sitting beneath Springfield, Missouri. Now here's where it gets strange. The USDA isn't even a tenant anymore. They're gone. And who moved in? Kraft Heinz, PepsiCo, Nestle. Wait, let me say that again. The same companies that once lobbied the government to buy up surplus milk are now renting the exact same caves to store their own private inventory. So what changed? Nothing changed. The cheese is still there. There's just a different logo on the box. Let me explain what this actually means. These caves aren't just storage. They're climate-controlled food fortresses. The limestone keeps temperatures at a steady 55 degrees year-round. That means cheese, butter, and dairy products can be aged and stored for years without refrigeration costs. For a food company, this is a gold mine. But here's the part that really gets me. The private sector didn't just inherit the caves. They inherited the entire system. The same distribution network, the same supply chain, the same strategic advantage that the government originally created. And the surplus problem? Commercial inventories of American cheese have hit record highs again, over 1.5 billion pounds. That's enough cheese to give every person in America 5 pounds each. So where is all that cheese going? Into the same caves, just with a different owner. And that's where it gets personal. When you realize the government spent billions building this infrastructure for private companies, you start asking who's actually managing your food supply. The government created the system. The corporations inherited it. And we're the ones eating the cheese. Here's the thing. You're the only CEO your health has ever had. And you didn't vote for Kraft Heinz. You didn't elect Nestle. So what happens when that much food is controlled by just a few private companies? What happens when they decide to release it? What happens when they decide to hold it? What happens when they decide to hold it? Because here's what I've learned. The pattern keeps repeating. The government creates a policy. The corporations adapt. And decades later, we find out the system has been quietly privatized. The cheese caves aren't a conspiracy. They're just business. But that's almost scarier. I've been digging into this for weeks, and the more I find, the less comfortable I get. The cheese caves are a perfect example of how we've outsourced our food system without asking. Today's facts have a habit of becoming tomorrow's fallacies. And that's why I'm not stopping this investigation. Because if we privatize 1.5 billion pounds of cheese without asking, what else are we getting wrong right now?